Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey David, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, well, it's pretty hard not to be doing well tonight if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, as I have been since 1972, just like you. So
Mm.
this is, there's been lots of sweet nights, obviously, in that time period, but this is one of them. A huge kind of statement win coming off a stinker loss to the Los Angeles Kings. They play a really good hockey team, and they beat them fair and square, Bruce, on
Yep,
pretty much every aspect of the game. And
every team won.
they beat him with the new Oilers formula, which is great goaltending, McDavid and Draisaitl, obviously this scintillating power play, puck moving defense, and just the right amount of depth scoring, which is the new thing we've had in about the last dozen games now.
Hmm.
I think they've averaged about a goal a game, the depth forwards, and if they're doing that, that's going to make this Oilers team really hard to keep out of the playoffs at the very least this year, Bruce. They now have 15 wins in 25 games, so and they out chance on grade A chances 12-8. So just a
They were
happy
the better
night.
team.
Happy night. Two good things, two bad things, two numbers, Bruce. But because it's a win, we're going to go with our new. When we're so happy, we can't contain ourselves, it seems, and we're each going to have two good things.
Okay,
All right.
I'm game.
You could probably contain yourself, Bruce, but not
I,
me. I gotta.
I'm going to have six good things by the time I've done my two good things, but you'll see.
Okay, let's start with your two good things.
Okay,
Your
well,
first, your
my,
first one good thing.
my first good thing is the play of Edmonton's first line, and I'm going to throw rare kudos the way of Connor McDavid for his strong defensive play right out of the gate. Very first shift of the game, McDavid was hard on the back check twice. I think it was William Karlsson that he took on
Yeah.
and stopped him. I think inside Edmonton's blue line twice. And I thought, here we go again. A big scoring chance against right out of the gate, which has happened a few times this year. And McDavid put his nose to the grindstone right from the get-go. And to me, that start set the stage for what became a fairly dominant offensive game from that group, which we're accustomed to seeing. But sometimes we see them get 2 or 3 points and they wind up the game even, and goals for and against. Today, +2 for each player on two even strength goals, and then they added one on the power play for good measure. And I thought the reason I'm picking the line is I almost don't want to single out any one of the three, or preferably single out each of the three for playing an excellent game. Zach Kassian was outstanding in the first period. Earned 2 assists by grinding along the boards. Actually, he earned 3 assists, but referee number 17 stole one away from Edmonton on
Uh,
a uber quick whistle. He saw Marc-Andre Fleury start to put his glove down on the puck, so he blew the whistle because he thought he's probably going to get it, rather than waiting, seeing what actually happens and calling that. But uh, I was not happy at the time.
Neither
And
was I.
Nuge kind of got hosed out of a goal there, and he's had a run of bad luck, and that's just an example of what happens to a player when he's on a tough scoring run. But Cassian was the guy who set that up, and really he was the guy who had uh, strong play along the boards for each of the two goals that did count in the first period, and then a couple of great scoring chances that he himself had later in the game, including a beauty where he stuck the puck through the defenseman's leg and was robbed by Marc-Andre Fleury. This was not a game that Edmonton won because the other team's goaltending sucked. I thought Fleury was actually pretty darn good, and they still
Yeah.
managed to get 4 pucks by him. So kudos to him. And then lastly and not leastly, Leon Draisaitl, who pointed the finger of blame squarely at himself after a putrid outing in Los Angeles, and rightly so. But he answered his own bell tonight with an outstanding 200-foot effort. I was very impressed with Leon's game. He won a ton of battles in this game, and those won battles resulted in some very nifty passes, three of which resulted in first assists. A beautiful soft pass to McDavid coming out of the corner, then a backhand feed to Ethan Bear in the high slot that Bear buried, and then another beauty backhand where he won a battle behind the net. He just drove right through the defenseman's stick with the puck, with Fleury down and out, and fed another backhand right on the stick of McDavid, who wasn't going to miss that opportunity. And that 4-2 goal really, uh, I think it some way it took a little bit of the wind out of Vegas' sails. Edmonton was in command down the stretch. And I do believe by your count, Vegas didn't even generate a high danger scoring chance until literally too late to save the day. Like 5 seconds left, they got a good chance when it was 4-2, and it wasn't, whether they score or not doesn't matter at that point. But Edmonton tamped it down pretty good, and part of the reason was the reliable two-way 200-foot game of their top line.
Yeah, Draisaitl made some nice passes. That sizzling pass
Mm.
to Bear. Guess it's good we didn't trade him for PK Subban a few years ago, as some folks wanted to see happen.
Yeah, well, I don't even want to revisit some folks, but there was talk about him being part of a package for PK Subban, and like you, at the time, I was glad it didn't happen, and I'm still very glad that
Yeah,
didn't
me
happen.
too. Bruce, I was the same with like that first shift by McDavid. I thought this is a really good sign because he hasn't been great on. He hasn't even been good. Hasn't even been average maybe on defense this year. He's been
Hmm.
mediocre a lot of the time, and they just need him to dig in on defense and be the defensive player that he can be and has been in the past. In spurts, he's really inconsistent there. But
Hmm.
when he puts his mind to it, he gets it done. And seeing McDavid play tough on that first shift was huge for the whole team. I'm,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sure
so
they're all
too.
watching him on the bench and they're thinking, look, oh, there he goes, the captain. So
Hmm.
yeah, he Bobby Clarked it there, and that's what I'd like to see from McDavid. At least in the big games. Like I'm not,
Yeah,
he doesn't
well,
have to
yeah,
do it every single game, but in these big games, these big tough games, and in the playoff games to come, that's going to be needed.
that was playoff
So
hockey right there. That very
sure
first
was.
shift.
Sure was, and they were tough. Vegas is a big, tough, nasty team, and Reeves should have got a game misconduct for that hit on Clefbaum. But you know what I liked on the first line, Bruce Cassian, his value on the cycle is so immense. He is such a force out there along the boards in the offensive end, and really allows for those extended cycles for McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, of course, their skill allows for that more than anything else. But the puck's not dying on his stick. That was the whole problem, right? Finding another player. They put out Lucic there forever, and they put out this guy, that guy, the other guy, and the puck would always die on their stick on the offensive end, and that hardly ever happens with Zach Cassian. So very, 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 very sweet. So I have another note here. The second goal. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah. So after the Oilers really deserve the second goal, Bruce.
Hmm.
You know,
Especially
that should
since
have
they
been a goal
scored it
for
twice.
RNH since they scored it twice. It's so good that Draisaitl earned it for them with that pass. Okay, my good thing is Dave Tippett's gutsy call to start Mike Smith. So I think if we had done a poll, I didn't do a poll. We often do them, but I think if we had done a poll, I'm guessing 90%, and I could be wrong, but I'm guessing 90%, including me, would have voted to start Mikko Koskinen in that game. And do you think 90% is too high? Might be, but before
Oh,
that.
I was thinking each goalie's going to start one game, so I personally didn't care which one was which.
Fair enough. There was that
But
factor when you
with the
so
back to back, but
so.
but
Go ahead.
putting Smith back in there, I mean Tippett knows his man Smith. He's had him on 3 teams now,
Yeah.
and he knows that when he has a stinker, as he did in the first period on Thursday night, that he's hungry to get out there. And of course, he only played 20 minutes that night, so he's nice and fresh and anxious to get at it. And he played well. He, uh, the one goal kind of went right through him, and I was not too impressed when he tried to go right up the middle with the 2-goal lead and 30 seconds left when the net was empty, because that was the one play that could have given Vegas a fighting sniff at the end. But
Oh, wow.
he is a battler. Don't recall seeing a goalie who lunges at so many pucks as him, but he lunges effectively when he's on his game.
So when I first read that Smith was starting,
Hmm.
and then I was running a post about it, and my first thought
Yeah, I
is like,
read that.
why are they doing this? Well, why are they starting Smith? But by the end of the post, I was
You
actually okay with
convinced
it.
yourself? Yeah.
I was actually okay with the decision by then.
I could
And
read your mind changing as I read
yeah,
through the
so
paragraph.
it was based on this. So he in the previous 4 games he had an 841 save percentage, Mike Smith, and that's just rancid. That's like you are cold beyond cold. That is terrible. If he had another game like that, it might have been a while before he started again. Put it that way. So there was that, and that's why I'm saying the vast, vast majority of Oilers fans would have preferred to see Koskinen, who's been like a 920 goalie, save percentage pretty much all year long, and has been doing great.
Mhm.
But there was the back-to-back games figured in, but there's also the fact that if you look at the whole season, Mike Smith has had a pretty good season. He's got an overall a 910 save percentage. When you look at like we actually track in our scoring chance
Right.
metrics who makes mistakes on the goals against. Like
Mhm.
and Koskinen and Smith are pretty much even. They're dead even. So even though we have the recency bias that Smith has had made a lot of bad mistakes in games, and he has made some bad mistakes more recently. Overall, he hasn't
Yeah.
been that different than Mikko Koskinen. And I just thought, players do get in slumps, and but they break out of them. And he's been playing well this year. Why can't he break out of it? And they've also been going with this equal time thing, right? And this is a consistent coach
Yes.
who's trying to get routines, consistency of effort, consistency of goaltending as well. And this is how he's done it so far this year. So why should he at the first sign of some real trouble, back away from that? So
Maybe
it
so.
was that thought mainly that made me think, oh yeah, this is a smart coach who doesn't back down
Hmm.
at the first sign of trouble and cave into the crowd and to hit the panic button and change things. He has a thing that's been working for 24 games pretty much, and so let's stick it with it for game 25. So
Yeah.
I think a very good call by Dave Tippett. I didn't really say that in my post at the time, so this is kind of like after the fact praise. Like I wasn't as strong, at least. I was okay with the decision at that time by the end of the post, but good for him.
Yeah, well, Tippett knows that in the long game, he's going to need both of his goalies, and he's going to need them both all season long. So he can't afford to get into a situation where he's riding one guy hard, and then something, whatever, that guy goes into a slump or something happens to him, and then what? So he's going to go hard with it, and he's not going to let one bad game knock him off. And I'm not sure either of the goalies has yet played two bad games in a row, personally.
Smith had those four. When you have 4 games, Bruce, with an 849 save percentage, you must have had 2 bad games in a row.
Maybe.
I don't want to show you up here like live on YouTube, but I'm just going to say that.
Maybe. Yeah, yeah, they weren't in a row, but maybe they were
Maybe,
his
yeah,
his games in a row. So yeah, anyway.
maybe they weren't
Uh,
in a row. Like he did have one win in there, right? Like
mhm.
in those 4 games, he did win a game, so maybe it felt like an okay game. So okay. What's your second good thing? Do you have a second good thing?
I sure do. I got lots of good things, but I'm going to again go with an entire line of players, and this would be the European line of Gaetan Haas with Marcus Granlund and Patrick Russell. A rare combination of a Swiss, a Swede, and a Dane.
Walked into
Uh,
a bar.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And scored the game-winning goal. That's the punchline tonight. And a well-deserved game winner it was with excellent down low puck battle by all three guys that culminated with Marcus Gradman making the deposit for his second of the road trip. He scored a beauty in San Jose to open the scoring the other night. And at the time we were raving about Oscar Klefbom's great cross ice pass to him. And later I was thinking, no, I didn't say enough about what a great play Marcus Granlund made there, skating backwards to get into the open ice to receive that pass and pop it upstairs. Like that was some elite skating there. Like not every player can make that. That was an Yvonne Cornway skating away from the puck while looking at it because because he's got four directional skating, and that was a very neat play by Granlund in San Jose. Well, tonight was more just a hard working effort and a second effort in putting the rebound in the corner, and well, really uh, Haas, he's joins the battle. He skates hard. He loses his share of battles and maybe even more than, but it's not because he doesn't show up for them. Then on the other hand, the Dane, Patrick Russell, he hasn't met a battle yet that he won't join. Man, he just struggles, gets in there along the walls, and he just will compete for every puck, and he wins way more than his share of puck battles, and he almost never gets sort of badly beaten. He just, he's just a slugger. Like he's an excellent fourth line player.
Yeah, it's a stereotype, but if you didn't know Patrick Russell's nationality and you said, "Where is that guy from?" You'd say, "Well, he's from."
Sudbury.
That's exactly right, or Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
or Sault Ste. Marie or some Squamish. Like he just plays the Canadian game. So and Gaetan Haas, I'm a big fan, like because of his speed. I think there's an NHL player there because of his speed, and he got another great chance in the third period. He almost got a breakaway, but he was gassed, as the announcer said earlier in the game. The guy has enough speed to be a really dangerous player, and I like what I see most games. Although I agree with you, Bruce, he's probably slightly less than 50% in one-on-one battles because he's not that big. Okay, my other good thing was Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who I don't think had a point and it was -1, but he did score the goal that didn't count. He should have got an assist,
Oh,
I
they sure
believe.
should have gotten an assist on McDavid's goal.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
think
it
he
just, wow.
got on the
Yeah,
yeah. He pried that
he
puck
got robbed.
loose.
Yeah,
He
he got
got
robbed
robbed.
there.
Maybe they'll add it to him. I don't know. Do they ever add it after the game? Sometimes
Oh,
they do.
yeah, sometimes they do, and they might.
So he totally pried that puck loose.
Mhm.
So he should have had a goal and an assist. And he set up Archibald cross seam. Archibald, that was like the grade A. It was like triple A chance there, and Archibald couldn't get it in the netty. And there were some other chances. He set up Neil a couple times, I believe. He
Neil
just
late in the game where he stopped up, he just completely turned the defender inside up with a quick
yeah,
stop and reverse and a sweet feed right across the slot. And Neil didn't miss either. Fleury made an outstanding save on that play.
yeah. Nuge is a fantastic player, and especially when he makes up his mind that he's just gonna like be a crazy hustler all night, like just go for it.
Hmm.
And I think all the veteran players on the team are making in a number of big games. We've started to see this where these players maybe in the past they've wilted a bit, but they're all digging in. Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Draisaitl and refusing to lose, and they're not losing as much because of it. So good for
Well,
them.
they're getting to be grizzled vets now, David. I mean, what's McDavid now? He's 22, isn't he?
Yeah,
He'll be
well,
23 in a couple months. I mean, that's
for an NHLer,
that's the age Wayne Gretzky was when he won his first Stanley Cup. I mean, you're not talking about a kid anymore. Let's put it that way.
not by
And same
NHL
with Leon.
standards.
You're talking about guys that are really entering their prime years or in their prime years in the case of the Nuge.
Yeah. All right. What's your bad thing, Bruce?
My bad thing is the short turnaround between tonight and tomorrow night. Done for Canadian TV, I believe, where the Oilers play the late game on Hockey Night in Canada tonight at 8 p.m. in Vegas, and then we'll play the only game on Canadian TV tomorrow night at 6 o'clock in Arizona. So that's a minimum NHL mandated minimum 22 hours between games. Like they can't have a situation where a team plays a night game and then a day game, right? That's it's just not the rules say it has to be 22 hours. But my bigger beef is with Rogers Sportsnet and the idea that their Sunday night show goes directly into the Grey Cup game. What in the hell is that? I'm a Canadian sports fan. I'm a hockey fan first and foremost, but I'm a sports fan. The Grey Cup game is the football game of the year in Canada. Now, when they play the Super Bowl in Super Bowl Sunday in the States, the entire NHL plays early day games and they cut the games off so that everybody can watch the Super Bowl. Now, I don't expect American fans to cancel hockey schedule for Canadian football final, but I sure in the hell expect Canadian hockey fans to be given the chance to watch the game, the Grey Cup game. It's one bloody Sunday a year.
What time is the Grey Cup?
4 o'clock. So basically the second half. And here we have, an Oilers game up against, I mean, if the Eskimos were in the Grey Cup, it would be even more of a pickle. But I just don't think it's right. And I think that, if Rogers wants to show, like on Super Bowl Sunday, they'll have their hometown hockey and they'll have a Sunday game at like noon. And that's fine. That's what they should do tomorrow. But no such thing. So, and it impacts the Oilers because of the short turnaround. But I'm just more than a little browned off that, I mean, I've watched every Grey Cup game since 1962, David. Now tomorrow, here I am working the Oilers game because that's when they're playing it. And I just don't think it's fair to sports fans like me.
I'll
And
just
so
watch. You
that's
can
my
do
bad thing.
just watch the Grey Cup and then tune into the Oilers game later, and we'll be. I
Well,
got to
yeah,
I'm coaching a game tomorrow night anyway, Bruce. So we're going to
mhm,
be a little later anyway. So
with the
I
podcast,
didn't.
yeah, but
I have a.
it just pisses me off. They got to think it through. Like I think it's between them and TSN. They should work that out too. Like they put the
Yeah.
fans on a hot spot, and it's just not necessary.
I'd like to say that I care, but I honestly didn't know the Grey Cup was on tomorrow. So, I mean, I can tell you the entire Eskimos defensive unit from 1980 to 85, but I have do not watch the CFL anymore. So I'm sorry that sorry about that, CFL fans. I know that you're hardcore and you love that game, but
Well, I don't watch the
I
NFL anymore, but I do watch the Super Bowl,
I
and
don't
I
watch any
appreciate the
football.
fact there's no hockey up against it, and it should be the same, at least in Canada, for Canadian teams against the big Canadian game. And that's my opinion,
Alrighty,
and I'm sticking with it.
fair enough. My bad thing, there wasn't a lot bad, but Adam Larsson, I thought wasn't. He's still finding his A game, to put it mildly. There was one play in particular. He made some good plays, so I did give him a 5 overall, just because I was being probably a little bit generous. But of all the Oilers players, I mean, everybody passed tonight. Uh, but man, the second goal, first he dumps it out. He tries this long pass. And when Vegas picks off that pass, they're coming in hard with a number with numbers, and Clefbaum and Larsson are way back in the Oilers zone. And then to make matters worse, both Clefbaum and Larsson get absolutely undressed by
Shea Theodore.
Shea Theodore on the play, and so not a good moment for Adam Larsson. Like he is a veteran player, and he showed some veteran stuff. He was really tough on the boards that game. He had some really good moments on the boards, but come on, it's time for Adam Larsson to step up and make a statement now. I'm going to give him. I'll have some patience here. I'll
Yeah.
back off from any like overall assessments. I'm not going to make that right now, but it is time for him to pick it up and play like he can.
Well, on that play, he wasn't patient enough on the rush. Like after he gave the puck away, he came over to Clefbaum's side to try and challenge Theodore, and Theodore made one cut and beat both guys at the same time. And whereas if he's coming in 1-on-2 and he's got to beat Clefbaum, then Larson, I don't think he's going to go through him. And I think Adams moving in the way he did kind of had Oscar in betwixt and between, and he wound up getting beat on the same inside beat.
Yeah,
It was a
I,
great play by Theodore,
it
incredible too.
was. I agree with you on Larson too. He did probably throw off Clef. Like in a number of ways, Oscar Clefbaum's probably not too happy about that play from his partner. I just hope Clefbaum's okay. I mean, this is the night when Brian Burke said in intermission he's having a near Norris quality season, and yeah, then a play like that happens. But yeah, I hope Clefbaum is not. Uh, that was a really dirty play by Ryan Reeves. Put up right in the numbers, drove him right into the boards, and how that
Oh
wasn't a
man,
penalty? How was that not a penalty? Like, get your
well,
head
how
out of your
can
butt,
yeah,
ref.
like how do you miss it? I mean, it's like everybody in the rink saw it. You had to.
Yeah.
Klefbom was going after the puck. Reeves saw the two sevens and he just smashed in between him and sent him flying into the boards. And that was the third heavy hit that Klefbom took. He got crushed on two clean checks right in a row on one shift in the first period, about 10 or 15 seconds apart. Reeves caught him with a good check, and then Carrier nailed him again right after. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, this is going to be a tough night. And then he got the third one. And I tweeted at the time that I don't remember ever seeing Oscar go into a referee and sort of noticeably take an issue with a call that was made in the game. Like he is not a whiner, but he went right after number 17, Frederick Lecuyer, who Lecure, I don't know how you pronounce that name, who
The cures.
the same guy who missed who assumed the quick whistle earlier. And Clough went after him, but he did it in his way, classy. Like he didn't bark at him, he didn't swear at him. He just got right in his face and said, "How did you miss that?" Like he hit, you could see he was really contesting the lack of the call, but he was doing it like politely. And by the end of it, the referee gave him a pat on the rear end. I think probably apologized for missing it. But I will say this: the refs called zero penalties on the Oilers tonight, and this is a rare thing
Yeah,
indeed.
and
So
on the first goal, Cassian might have theoretically been called with a penalty. There was also a quick whistle after that Clefbaum hit, right after, and
yeah,
I think maybe that was a makeup call, like, oh, geez, if they score here, I'm gonna look really bad. So I better. Oh, I can't see the puck for a second. Like, blow the whistle then.
uh,
That's probably not correct. All right, my number, Bruce, is I got three numbers: 1634. 1634 is the first number. The second number is 1804. and the other number is 15:35. And those are the time on ice. Chris Russell, 16:34. Adam Larsson, 15:35. And Caleb Jones, 18:04. And
Mhm.
time on ice being the metric that tells us which defenseman does the coach trust the most that game, barring like injury issues,
Right.
or extended PK or power play time, which we didn't have this game. So the coach is trusted Caleb Jones more than the two veterans, and I think that was the right call. Although Russell, I thought had a pretty good game. He was fine, but Caleb Jones, I thought had a bounce back game after a pretty rough night in Los Angeles. Good to see him have that. I mean, I didn't see any obvious mistakes, and he just moved the puck well, met every challenge. So good for Caleb Jones. I think he took a step in earning Tippett's trust, and I think this was a bubble game for Jones. If he didn't play well, he could be out of the lineup, and it might happen anyway when Benning comes back. But I like I'm a big Caleb
I,
Jones fan anyway, but I thought he played a pretty good game.
I thought he was terrific in the third period, especially getting the
Yeah.
puck, winning races to the puck, and getting it moving north, which is the strength of his game. And under pressure from a pretty talented, fast, hard checking opponent like Vegas, he didn't wilt under that forechecking pressure at all. He made just calm, quick decision, good movement of the puck kind of plays, and kept the puck out of danger. And
He might as well play his
power
A
to him.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
more
yeah.
power to him. He might as well play the A game because he might as well go for it.
Yep.
Because if he doesn't, he's certainly not going to make it. So, but he has a chance to make it if he can keep bringing that A game. Bruce, what is your number?
I'm going to add one number to yours before I give you mine. That's 10:54, which is Joachim Nygaard's ice time tonight, which was the least of any Oiler, as Tippett really ran his entire lineup. And this is great in the beginning of a back-to-back. They didn't have a line rotting on the bench playing 6 minutes. It was like 11 minutes and up for everyone.
Smart.
And that's terrific. My numbers are 1 and 12. And that is the number of giveaways and takeaways by the Edmonton Oilers in this game. One giveaway, zero penalties. This was a very low mistake kind of game for Edmonton. Now, mind you, that's a lot of that is discretion of the scorekeeper or the referee, respectively. But they didn't shoot themselves in the foot in this game. And 12 takeaways is actually quite a lot, and that includes four that were credited to Adam Larsson alone, which is surprising to see. But he was the ringleader in that particular department. But they were winning puck battles as a takeaway from those two columns together. Far more pluses than minuses, and by comparison, Vegas had 14 giveaways and only 10 takeaways. So Oilers came away with more pucks off of mistakes or just won battles than
Yeah.
Vegas did.
I guess they didn't count Larson's pass on that second goal as a giveaway.
Generally, they
That's
don't.
that's kind of a giveaway.
If the
I'm
puck
saying.
if the puck changes zones, though, they usually
Yeah.
don't. That's more like what I call a punt with my
But that
lo-
wasn't, he didn't punt that one. He was trying to make a
long-standing.
pass. It
Yeah,
got picked
but
off. His pass got picked
it got
off.
it got picked off, but it got picked off in a different zone.
Yeah, fair
So it
enough.
wasn't like he coughed the puck right to a guy right next to him.
Maybe they have definitions, right? You'd hope
Yeah.
they do. So
Mhm.
maybe that's one of their definitions. If the puck changes zones, that can never be a giveaway because you've advanced the puck. So,
Right. Yeah.
alrighty. So tomorrow night we got another big game, man. Another big one. So this has
Against a
been a really
very
crucial,
tough team. Very good, underrated team, Arizona
yeah,
Coyotes.
such a crucial road trip, right? Because when you were looking at the schedule and I was looking at the schedule, like these, is it 5 games this road trip?
Hmm.
And it looked like, man, this could be bad. But it started off so great, and then now there's this. And if you can come out of this road trip, Bruce, with 3 wins and 2 losses, which is what I was kind of secretly hoping heading into it, that'd be fantastic.
I
So
was even thinking 2 and 3 is not a disaster.
yeah,
What you got to avoid is getting whacked. And they've already got the 2 wins. And really, icing on the cake is, I mean, much as it's painful to lose a game to the lowly Los Angeles Kings. If you'd have told me at the beginning of the week the Oilers are going to win 2 of the 3 games and you can pick the two that you're going to want, I'm going to say, well, I want the one against San Jose and against Vegas in regulation. Put some distance between Oilers and teams that can actually catch them, because LA, they're never going to catch Edmonton this year or anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah, they
So
lost
if
today.
you're going to lose a game, that's the one to lose. I mean, as much as it didn't taste very good at the time, I mean, they won two sweet games against teams that they want to keep below them in the standings, and beating them directly in their barn is about the best way possible to do that.
So Arizona Sunday, and when is Colorado Tuesday?
Colorado Wednesday.
Wednesday. All right, we
Yeah,
got the break there.
yeah.
All right, Bruce. Well, I think that's probably it for tonight. Thanks for talking tonight.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you right again tomorrow night.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.